everyone. Welcome to the official Food Truck Podcast. We talk to food truck owners all over the country. Today it's the home turf, Toledo, Ohio, and a brand new food truck, Tacos Unidos. It's got Jacob and Sylvia. They're the owners of the establishment. Jacob Estrada. Jake, what's that mean? Tacos United?
United
Right?
Tacos, and that's because we're not the only ones that are involved with this new gig we're doing. We're partnerships with a Rafael Estrada who has JMO's and Poppy's Tacos and that. So it's a 50-50 business. So we took some of his menu, some of our menu, put it on one truck. So
Like
it's tacos
Okay.
United Tacos.
Tacos Unidos. So I want to go back to the beginning, you guys. How did you get in the restaurant business? Is it recent? Have you always done it?
So I've been working restaurants since 16. My very first job was McDonald's, and then I went to Burger King, and then from there it was just anything from Tony Paco's to a Greek restaurant at Woodville Mall. The list goes on. I've worked plenty of restaurants, managed a few, and it's always been a passion of mine. And Sylvia can tell you her experience in the restaurant.
Right. Actually, my first job was in the restaurant industry, Taco Rito out in California. And then from there, it was Burger King, and then I stopped. Then I, was the more county government kind of administrative stuff. Then when I met Jacob, that's when I asked Jacob, if there's something you could do, what would you want to do? And he says, I'd love to open a restaurant. And so we both have a passion in cooking. So that's where he started doing the search for the restaurant while I was in California at the moment.
Yeah.
And so go ahead and tell them the rest of the story.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Okay. So you guys have California, or do you both have California backgrounds, or just you, Sylvia?
Both of us. She has more. She was born and raised there. I lived out that way. I was actually down in Mexico, in Baja California, Mexico, right under San Diego, next to Tijuana and Mexicali, in a town called Tecate. I was out there for a while, and I just loved the scene. I got to learn a lot of things on the food and the sauces and everything out there while I was out there.
And then how did you guys end up in Toledo, Ohio from California?
So I ended up coming back. I had a 3-year commitment over there, and where I was at in Tecate, helping out. I was interpreting, leading music for a ministry over there. And then when I finished that 3-year term, I came back to Toledo. And then Sylvia one day Facebook requested me. And within hours, she was already asking me if I wanted to be her man and stuff.
Oh, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just go for the gusto.
Man, you work fast there. Well, you knew what you had, right? You had to lock that in.
I'll let him just stick to
Okay, so you guys come to Toledo. What were you doing before restaurants, like when you were here?
So I worked for close to 10 years at Cherry Street Mission. But then I always held part-time jobs here and there. I'm a musician, and I was actually doing music full-time, working full-time at Cherry Street Mission. And then after I left Cherry Street Mission, I started working. Whoever's watching this, please forgive me if I ever given you a ticket, but I was a ticket guy here downtown for
God,
and I found out very quick, that job was not for me. Later on, that's when we opened the restaurant.
Jacob, is that job as miserable as it seems? I mean, I'm sure, because I've been caught them once. It is like once you start writing a ticket, then there's no talking your way out of it. I'm like, I get so angry.
I'm going to be honest with you. You would piss some people off, obviously. But I think the thing that was hard for me was in the wintertime. Out there ticketing is like, I am not good with the cold. It was brutal for me. That was the hardest part of the job.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have Jacob, you told me the story, because we're friends for a long time. You've told me the story about how you've got into the restaurant, but it wasn't a great location. But to you, it was your dream location, and the price was right. And hold on, my wife wants to jump in here. Go ahead, Colleen.
Wait a minute, you're talking to Jacob and Sylvia?
Yes.
Okay, well, Jacob definitely got the better end of the deal there. Sylvia is freaking amazing.
Okay.
Honey, thank you.
Okay, so tell us how you got. Where did you do? I'm guessing it's downtown. So were you like doing your other job and you saw this place and you're like, oh man, or how did you discover this?
Yeah,
little
so
spot?
I love to eat, and so when I was out there ticketing, and it came to lunchtime, I'd find a little restaurant or wherever to go eat. And at the time, it was called Your Mama's House of Eats, and the owner's name was Micah. He owns Wesley's bar downtown, and he also was running this. And the poor guy, I think it was tough because there was a time when they were doing construction down here on Michigan Street, and the street was closed off, so it was hard for him to get the traffic that he needed to keep the business going. And he has mentioned there were some other factors in there. So I just told him, hey, well, keep me in the loop. If you ever, close down, I hope you're the best. But if you ever close down, I might be interested. And one day he wasn't here no more. And so I eventually, after about a month and a half trying to get a hold of the owner of this building, we finally came in contact. And I made an offer, and I'm surprised he accepted, and it all worked out because I really didn't have much money to start investing in. And I told him, if I give you $100 a month just to hold the spot so nobody else gets it, would you do that? And he said, yeah. And he goes, and then once we're open, we'll start charging the regular rent. And it all worked out.
That is so cool, man. And you did a lot of the work. You did all the work yourself, a lot of the work yourself to get it ready to go. I know.
I'm sorry. What was that?
You did a lot of the work yourself, or all of the work yourself to get it ready and up and going. Yeah.
Yeah. Sylvia and I mean, we were just here every day and on our time off, even on my breaks when I was working for ParkSmart, her and I would come down here, even if it was just a half hour, 45 minutes, we were working on the place. And then when I was working, Sylvia would be down here, whether it was painting or just organizing, filing things. And I tell you what, man, Sylvia is the heart and soul of this place, because a lot of people look at me as, I'm here from Toledo, so they've known me for years and years. But honestly, had it not been for Sylvia, I don't think I could have done this. She is really my backbone, my better half in this business. So she was a great help and still is a great help on what we do here.
That's awesome, man. No, so when it comes to Mexican food, for those who don't know the Toledo area, I think all the Mexican places, they're related. Like they're cousins. All the food tastes the same. I know a lot of them are related. I don't know if they all are, but it's all the same damn food and here's what I say: Toledo loves Mexican food. Toledo loves shitty Mexican food because it's so bad, but people love it, and Mexican restaurants don't close, and they're everywhere, and blah, blah, blah. And your guys is just an oasis in a desert. So different, so original, so delicious. It's just, I think it's the California influence. I'm a California guy too. I came from California. Would you agree that it's different because it's got that California
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
A lot of the restaurants, they're successful, and I'm sure they
know
one or two, but it is true what you're saying. A lot of them are all family, and you got a lot of them, and I mean a lot of them. You go, hey, such and such, where you guys are? They're all from the same place. They're all from the same family whatsoever. So obviously, when that's the case, a lot of the recipes are going to be the same. A lot of, if we were to open up 20 restaurants here, ours would be all the same too, because I wouldn't want to change anything.
Right.
So West Coast definitely played a big factor. In Texas, because both of our families are from Texas and some from Mexico. So these are some of the recipes have been passed on all the way from Mexico to Texas and California. It's a combination of all three.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys opened the restaurant, and you've been open a couple of years, 3 years? How long?
We're going on 3 years in August.
3 years. And then what in the world I know, Jacob, you've been talking about it for a long time, that you have this little converted hot dog cart that your dream was to maybe get tacos on that thing and get out in the community. And you were just so busy, you never had the opportunity to do that. So what made you finally decide, was it just opportunity to step out of the restaurant and get into the food truck game, which you've only been in since Cinco de Mayo, so not even a full week?
Right. So That's funny you mentioned that. As you learn about this business, sometimes you can be very compulsive or impulsive. And, so I told Sylvia, "Hey man, I'm going to buy this little taco truck thing, and it's a little bigger than a weenie cart." But
Tell her what we named it.
so Sylvia named it the little piojito, which means the little bug. I mean,
El Piojo.
El Piojo, yeah. You could only fit like 2 people on that thing and not very comfortably. But, I was excited. We were just opening. Said, "Oh, we're going to grow. We're going to get this trailer out here and this and that." And then I realized, what the heck did I just spend this money on? What was I thinking? And so it's sitting in our yard.
You want to buy it?
Jacob, if I had $1 for every time I said, "What am I thinking?"
Right.
I would retire already.
But I have plans for it. Obviously, I'm a musician, so I might turn it into like a little sound thing or something,
Mm-hmm.
Put all the mixing boards in there, put the speakers on it, and who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do with that darn thing. But what we do have now...
That's going to be the man cave.
Yeah.
Put him out there.
Yeah.
But so actually, Rafael Estrada, the one who has... and we're not related, but we do have the same last name. He has JMOs, and he has a few other... He had Rise and Grind and a few other places. And he approached us back in, I want to say October, so he would be interested in partnering with him at the Rise and Grind. It just happened to be at a time where we had so much going on and so much choices to make on certain things that we had to eventually decline, and it didn't work out. And then so it wasn't too long ago, we said, "Well, all right, I have another opportunity for you guys. What about a food trailer?" He goes, my partner needed to move. He wants to move down to Tennessee and do something down there. So if you guys are interested in buying him out, then why don't we go ahead and do that? And so Sylvia and I talked about it and prayed about it. And you know what? We said, let's do it. Why not? This is something we've always wanted to do. And
So for those who don't know, Rise and Grind was a brick and mortar location. So he wanted you to partner with him on a brick and mortar. You're like, "Nah, it's not right now." But then another opportunity came around for the food truck. You're like, "Okay, it's a good time for that."
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Now, you guys know, I mean, the restaurant takes up so much time. How are you managing between that and now the food truck, even though it's only been a few days?
So we've only put the food truck out there once. Tomorrow we're going to be launching it again at a
Festival.
A festival. I think it's more like some people close down the street. Over there in the West End, and they're having a Cinco de Mayo celebration. We'll be putting it out there. And, just in time, I was able to hire a guy to help a prep. One of our old cooks is helping out, good old Rooster. I don't know if you remember Rooster.
I remember Rooster.
Oh, yeah. So he's back helping us out, and it couldn't have been better. He had to take some time off from his other job, and so he's contemplating. He's playing hardball with me to see if I can get him back full time. When I say he plays hardball, he plays hardball.
So are you doing that? Well, so you're doing both places. Are one of you going to be on the truck, or are both of you on the truck and then the restaurant? How are you guys going to do all that?
So right now we're only going to be running the truck in the evenings when our night staff is here. Sylvia and I will be on the truck training these other guys that are wanting to go and help us out full time on the truck. So eventually we told ourselves, once we get an evening crew, we're done here at the Lowrider. So we got an evening crew, and now we just got this trailer, and we got to train them up now.
So you were hoping once you got an evening crew, a dependable evening crew train, you would have your nights free to sit on the sofa and drink some beverages and relax. And now, once you leave there, you have to go to the food truck now.
Yeah, but these guys, a few of them worked a restaurant. They're in the past. And so they're excited. They wanted to change up the scene, and it won't be long before they're well trained up and on their own on that trailer.
So what have you, in the one time you had it out, because in your head, it doesn't always happen once it's actually time to get it going. What are some of the things you're like, oh, well, I got to change that. I got to change that. I got to change that. Are any challenges on day one, or how did it go?
Oh, it was very challenging. It was on Cinco de Mayo, and we set that bad boy right up in front of our restaurant. And, it was we really didn't get much training on that thing. It was like I said, we were so busy here, but we did make it happen, and then we moved to a secured spot that we're renting out, which is the old high-level diner right across the high-level bridge. So that's where we're going to be setting up about 80% of the time. The other 20% is going to be fairs or private parties or whatever. But yeah, it was challenging because we had to throw some of our crew on there who still doesn't. They know our menu, but they don't know Boppy's menu still.
Right.
So we were on there helping them out though, and it was successful. So I think a couple runs and these guys will have it down immaculately.
What made you guys decide to park it at a spot and pay a rent or whatever, as opposed to just go all over and find spots here and there? What was the thought process behind that?
I think if you can have a spot where you're known to be at on a regular basis, that's a good thing. And that's a high volume traffic area. That's right over the high level bridge. I mean, if you want to do
close to our restaurant,
and it's close to our restaurant too. So in case
we run out, we need something, we can come to the restaurant, grab and go.
Right. Yeah.
Because now basically you're going to have two spots based downtown. Were there any thoughts of, hey, well, maybe we'll do it in this part of town or this part of town instead, or did you get a great deal there, or did you know that you wanted to be close to the other spot, like you said? I
think closer to home's better, just because we do have one problem, and it's a good problem. And there's certain days here at the restaurant where customers they don't have time to get their orders. I mean, we get so packed and so full during lunchtime that there's just nowhere else. I mean, it'll be up. We have to tell them it's like an hour and 15-minute wait.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if we could tell them, hey, right up the road, we got a food trailer right over there, head over there.
Right.
That helps a lot.
And even on Cinco de Mayo, it was so packed. We had over an hour wait inside the restaurant.
Wow.
And so with the trailer being out in front, that helped us because people were lining up down the street on Michigan and getting their food. So we had two operations going at the same time. So we're
actually thinking on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because that's our special days, to actually put the trailer right in front of the restaurant to grab some of those people who are on it.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, Colleen says a little geniusy. I think what you're going to find out, I tell people that own businesses. I found people that own businesses. When you open the business, you have one thought, and then it's not necessarily the same in 30 days. It's not necessarily the same in 60 days. It's not necessarily the same in 90 days, but your people are going to tell you what works, what doesn't work. Your clientele, as you get open and moving, I mean, you don't know what the future is going to hold until you've been doing it a while. Then you're like, okay, well, I know how this is going to work. Right.
Yeah. The food business is just, when you're in a business where you're serving people, it's just like everything. Things are constantly evolving and changing. You got to keep up. It's just, the music industry, the sound equipment changes, the way the lights are done, and even the music itself changes so fast. It's the same in this food industry. I remember 4 years ago, food trucks weren't such a hot thing like they are now. So right now, the food truck is the hottest business, and we tapped into it. Now, how will that look 5 years from now? Who knows? Well, how will it look 2 years from now? But we're in it for now, and we're just got to roll with the changes like everything else.
Well, it's funny because I talked to, I think you guys are fortunate to have such a successful brick and mortar, and it just be an extension off that. And I think that's great for you guys because, I've talked to people in the business, food truck business that are local in the Toledo area. They're like, it's so far exploding that they think by the end of the season, people are going to be selling their trucks left and right because everyone thinks as soon as you get in, you're going to make great money. But that's not always the case. I mean, like I said, I think you guys with your background and your experience, you guys will find success very easily. But there might just be too many trucks. Do you think there could be too many trucks out there?
I still don't know. I'm not real hip to the whole truck scene yet. I'm
right.
Starting to get involved. I've been so consumed and busy with this, which is kind of crazy because I should have studied that more, but I didn't. Like I said, I can be very spontaneous at times to say, "Hey, let's do this. Come on, let's go." And,
he's very spontaneous.
I think you and I, Jacob, are very similar, and we lucky to have someone on the other side to either. Like I couldn't do any of the things I do without Colleen because she does all the nitty gritty. I think of the ideas, and then she does all the details to make sure that we're getting it right or whatever. Sylvia, is there any time you'd be like, Jacob, we can't do that. We're not doing that. Like an idea. Really?
Every day.
Every day. I tell them, no. I think my main concern when it comes to the business is margins. You got to have balance in your life. And our margins right now are currently pushed to the end. And so I'm trying to, once we get the food truck going and establish the crew, regroup those margins back in so that you do have that time that you've worked so hard to have. So it's been almost going on 3 years with the Lowrider, and we have a little bit of margin, and now I just feel like it got pushed out again. But it's okay, that's part of the business. You got to expand yourself, and then you'll come back in. And so a lot of times Jacob stretches himself with his music as well on top of the restaurant business. And so I have to be gentle about it, but remind him, sometimes it's okay to say no. No, because he has a family too, and teenagers. That's a very critical time, And for me, I raised 3 children, and teenagers were the most intense years. And so I told him, you know what? When the kids are older, that's something to think about. But right now, they need their dad.
She doesn't know that you and I discussed our retirement plan and opening a food truck in Hawaii, Andrew. So
yes, amen.
I'm down.
Amen. Did you have any reservations, Sylvia, when you guys thought about this? Were you on board 100% from the beginning with the food truck?
No. I wasn't on board because with the Lowrider, there's so much. We've grown, and so the sales volumes, the customers, the demands, the catering, can be overwhelming. And to add one more piece that at times can be kind of scary, but you know what? I'm a strong woman, and so one thing I told Jacob is, you know what? I will support you, in this decision, but I cannot be on that food truck 24/7. Like, this girl got to go get her roots dyed,
I understand. Colleen says you are her. Like the thing you're saying, she's had those same discussions with me many a times. So you guys, would you say that? Because I know when you first started, obviously with any business, it takes time to build. But it sounds like Lowrider is in overdrive. When would you say that it kicked in? Where you're like, I have an hour and 15-minute waits. I don't have to worry about. Are we not going to make enough sales? I'm past that point. Was it year 1? Was it recently? When did you realize that, hey, this is going to be, I've got something successful?
Yeah. So the crazy thing about that is we noticed during COVID when no more dine-in, we were just fairly new, and word got out that we were one of the few restaurants in downtown that was open. And so they created a page called Toledo to Go.
Yes.
And boy, did that help us, because everybody's, where can we get this? Where can we get that? People are saying, well, I heard there's a place downtown called Lowriders. They can get Mexican food down there. And so, boy, and then once the doors opened back up, it started to grow. And I think it was probably around October that we just started peaking out like never before. And it's just been growing since, even bigger and bigger. But COVID, as crazy as it sounds, COVID actually helped us.
It actually helped us. And, I'm not going to lie, there was days where Jacob and I, when we opened back then, like at 7 a.m. and we closed at 5. What were we thinking, right? But we sat time on the sofa twiddling our thumbs because we did have to lay off our whole staff. It was scary times, but, the staff that we at the time had hired, a lot of them were about second chances. And so they were just grateful that they had a job. And so they told Jacob and I, you know what? You and Sylvia gave us an opportunity that nobody else would open their doors to us. They would look down at us. But you guys looked at us with, love and admiration. And, because of that, we will work for tips. And I kid you not, my staff worked for tips during COVID. And we went live and told our customers, and they were so touched. And so we were able to, get them back on the payroll, be able to pay them and stuff. But it was some trying times. I'm not going to lie.
And we actually took care of them that Christmas, the first Christmas of COVID. They got some very nice bonuses.
They got bonuses from us. And then also, the love token. I mean, that couldn't have came at a better time. Around that time when we opened up, we were noticing, because downtown there's a lot of people that are in need and want a hot meal. And so, and a lot of them knew Jacob through Cherry Street. So they would come in here at the end of the day saying, hey, can you scrape me a burrito? Can you do this? And so Jacob and I just sat down and we were talking, like, how can we give back to our community? And so that's where we came up with the love token. And I had created these tokens, and we went with that and partnered with the community. So it's really, the community partnered with us to create the love token so that they can come in here once a month, show me photo ID, and, they get registered in our little love token book, and they get a meal.
Wow. It's great. You guys, good people. Good things happen to good people is a great thing. And you guys are definitely great people, and congratulations on the food truck. I want to check back with you guys to see how it's going in maybe a month or a couple months, and make sure you guys are still alive.
Yeah.
Roots. If my roots aren't died, you know what's up.
Love you guys. So check it out. It's Tacos Unidos, and you'll see them on the streets of Toledo, Ohio, and of course right at the foot of the high level bridge. There's another Mexican place over there. I don't know if they're gonna be too happy to you guys, but may the best tacos win.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people want tacos to go around, though, right, Jacob? Go ahead.
Which, speaking of, before we close out, we just want to say that we are so humbled and so happy that have you heard of the guy in the 419?
Yes, good friend.
Yeah, Patrick. So they put a contest out there for the tastiest tacos in town, and we ended up winning the tastiest tacos in town under the guy in the 419.
Awesome.
We got the trophy.
Very cool, you guys.
Cool.
Congratulations. Hey, you deserved it. I would tell everybody it's the best Mexican food restaurant in town. And now maybe the best Mexican food truck. I got to try it. Thank you, guys. It's like you said, same food. And then there's also some other options because of the Poppy's connection. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, Jacob Estrada, Sylvia Estrada, thank you guys so much. Lowrider Cafe, and then now Tacos Unidos. By the way, I was going to ask you, what advice would you give to other food truck owners? We'll save that because you're only 4 days in. Thanks, you guys. There it is. Jacob and Sylvia. Thank you for watching, you guys, or listening to the Toledo, the official food truck podcast in Toledo, Ohio today, with the Tacos Unidos. And make sure you check out all the episodes. Make sure you subscribe and like all our pages and all that stuff. And we'll see you on the next episode.